What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and thank you guys so much for 7,000 subscribers. I am so unbelievably grateful for every single one of you. I am so thankful that you guys listen to me ramble on and on about books. If you followed this channel for any amount of time, you might know that I started this channel because I really needed an outlet. I really needed to talk. I really needed to just get all of my thoughts and emotions out of my head, and a way that I process things is through what I'm reading, is to talk about what I'm reading. And so that's why I started doing this. And I have grown and changed so much as a person through doing YouTube. And I'm just really happy to each and every one of you who decided to go on this journey with me, who has supported this journey. And just thank you guys so much for making this channel what it is. I want to do something special for 7,000 because I missed a couple of other milestones, mostly because 2020 was a little bit of a garbage fire and a lot of things happened in 2020. But for this, I decided I wanted to do a top 5 favorite all-time books. Now, you can't just ask somebody who likes books, what are your favorite books of all time? It's like asking somebody who loves movies, like, what's your favorite movie of all time? What's your favorite song of all time? Like, you can't, it's an unanswerable question. There's so many little caveats here. So this list does have some caveats. The way I looked at it as, if you take every book that I physically own right now, and you said you can only keep 5 of them and the rest are going away. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. Maybe there was a fire, maybe they got donated to charity, maybe they got thrown in the trash, maybe it's Handmaid's Tale and they're all getting ripped to pieces. I have no idea, but you can only keep 5 of them. So I have to own them. They can't be an audiobook. It can't be something I got from the library. I have to physically own it, and it can't be part of a series when it gives me that feeling of, God, I'm so excited to read the next one, because I do have some favorites as part of a series, but the way it leads off, it's like, man, I need more. I need to know what happens. I need to know how this is going to end. So that does disqualify quite a few things, and this is what I've been left with. Now, there are 2 books in this group that are part of a series, but they don't give me that feeling of, God, I wish I knew what happened next. So this is what we have. The first book is Life as We Knew It by Beth Pfeffer. This probably is my favorite book of all time. I say that because I have read it like 7 times. I'll just check it out from the library to listen to the audiobook because it is so short, and it's just really fun to read, to see what happens. This is a story about a teenage girl and what happens during a year of her life when the moon gets knocked closer to the earth and lots of horrible disasters happen. It's beautiful, and it leaves off on such a hopeful note. It is technically part of a series. It's the first one in a series, but you don't need the rest of them because the rest of them don't have anything to do with this. The rest of them are different. I don't know what she was doing. I don't know what was going on there. You only need this one. This is all that matters. I've read those other ones and I don't acknowledge them. I only acknowledge this one. It's really good. If you pick up the audiobook, I will say that the narrator is a little bit annoying and she talks really slow. I noticed that after I'd listened to it a couple of times, but I would still give it a shot. And the chapter where they do the doomsday shopping is my favorite chapter in any book ever. My second one is Loveless by Oseman. These do not go in any order, and just by the way, they are just my top 5 that I could read over and over again. I love this. This is definitely a newer addition to my favorite books. This is about a girl who's in college kind of figuring herself out, and she discovers that she is aromantic and asexual, which I identify as both of those things as well. This is the first time I read a book where I'm like, wow, this author truly gets it. This is really how I feel on the page. It feels like such a personal experience. And I do have a video where I talked about other books that have asexual representation, but this one for me just does it absolutely perfectly. After reading this, I had to read all of Alice's other books because I was just so obsessed. And it is just so good. Even if you don't identify this way, I think it's a good book to read because it's going to give you a lot of new perspectives. And it's very near and dear to my heart. The next one is The Titan's Curse by Riordan, and a little spoiler for things that might be happening in the future, but this is my favorite Percy Jackson book. It is the 3rd one in the series, and it's still my favorite. I still really love it. It's like Harry Potter in that, things are kind of self-contained up until a point, and this one is still pretty self-contained. This is hormonal teenage Percy Jackson who is discovering that maybe he has a crush on Annabeth because Annabeth gets kidnapped, and Percy is all angsty and broody, and I gotta go off on this quest even though you won't let me, and it's got Claudia, it's got Zoe, it's got the Hunters of Artemis. I just really love this book. It is so amazing. It is one of my favorites, and I could definitely read this one over and over again. on. The next is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. I have talked about this book a lot. I love it. It's amazing. It is the original trilogy from a completely new perspective. We've got these star-crossed lovers on opposite sides of the war. To me, it's just Star Wars at its finest. Like, the ideas that Claudia is introducing here, the way the story is told, the way that it's paced, it is so good. Once again, I've read this book several times. I've taken notes. I've done podcast episodes about it. I love it. It's amazing. If you haven't picked it up yet, I don't know what you're doing. The last one is part of a series. It's actually the 6th book in the 7-book series, but it kind of stands on its own, and it's one that I just really like, and I definitely think I am a little bit of a controversial opinion in how much I like this book. It's Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 6th book in the Throne of Glass series, but I just absolutely adore this book. I know that not a lot of people really like Chaol, but he is one of my favorite characters, and this book is why he's one of my favorite characters. He goes on such an amazing journey of hope and redemption and healing, and the way that this book leaves off to me is just so beautiful. We're introduced to Irene, who is my favorite character that Sarah J. Maas has ever written. I think the romance in this is just so beautiful. It's so well done. The mountains and seas quote is one of my favorite quotes ever. And every time I read it, there's something else in it that I discover that I just truly love and like truly means so much to me. I know a lot of people don't like Chaol. I know a lot of people think that this book is skippable, and originally it was supposed to be skippable because it was supposed to be a novella, but then it ended up being just a lot more going on. It just ended up being its own novel, and there's a lot of information that's going to happen later in Kingdom of Ash. But I really do think you need this book between Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash because of how Empire of Storms ends. It's so much pain. There's so much happening. It really leaves off on like, what the heck is happening? Where's Aelin? Like, what's going on? And then you get this book and like everything kind of like stops, and it's weird, right? Like it kind of like pauses the pacing, and you go back to Chaol, and he goes through all of this healing, and he unpacks his relationship with Aelin, and he unpacks all of this internalized things that he has. And the book comes out with like such this hopeful meaning and this hopeful message to go into Kingdom of Ash with. And I feel like it just really prepares you for where you're going and like what's gonna happen, and I really, really love it. If you don't like Chaol, give him a shot. He's trying his best. He's doing his own thing, but I really like it, and I could read it over and over again. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 favorite books of all time, of course, with some caveats. There are some things that I think about, and I'm like, oh man, I should have added this, or like, oh, I could have added this, but like, overall, I think that if I truly only had 5 books for like the rest of my life, like these are the ones. These are the ones that I could just read over and over again. These are the ones that I constantly find new things to love every time that I read them. And they're very, very close to me. They're very close to my heart. So I would recommend all of them. I think they're all amazing. If you haven't checked them out, you should definitely do so. I would really love to know if you guys have any favorite books down in the comments down below. If you've read these, like, what do you like about them? What are some of your favorites? And once again, just thank you guys so much for the 7K. I think that this channel is doing really, really well, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future. So thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for listening to me rant about books. But that is everything I got for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.